All right. All right. Welcome back to Beach Chair Chats. My name is Brian Kaiser here today on a beautiful, I believe it's a Wednesday. I can't keep track sometimes, but I have a wonderful guest too who's, I don't know, she can keep track sometimes too because she's a busy person. It's Sara Reynolds. How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ryan?
Well, I'm winding down for the end of my day today, which is great. So, in New England, because I know you're not from New England, you are down south, so it's probably a little bit warmer down there.
Well, I would say yes, but we've had like a little bit of a turn of the weather
Uh,
recently.
What's
So,
the turn of the weather in the South? Like,
well, it's normally where I'm at, it's usually wonderful and sunny and 80,
mhm.
but today, and actually the last few days, it's been rainy and gross.
Ew, 80 though? Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
would.
it's usually 80, 85 at this time of year. It's probably about like 70 and rainy. Yeah.
Oh, I would still take 70. It was 29 degrees this
Oh,
morning when I went out to run.
no way, not
And
for
has
us.
it ever been 29 degrees in Georgia?
Oh yeah, it has, but those are rare days.
I always would chuckle during like with snow and like, okay, we got a foot and we close the state down south. You get like a dusting and like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And because it's not because no one knows how to drive, it's because you don't have the stuff, right? Infrastructure, you don't have the things.
You don't have the infrastructure, but I have lived up north before, and
Mm,
nobody knows how to drive in ice or snow.
yes, yes. We're out up north, like this area or just north,
I
depending.
lived in Chicago and I've lived
Okay.
in northeastern Missouri before, so
Mm,
people aren't good in driving in bad conditions anyway. If you're in a hurry, that's always
no. Well, that's always the case when you're ever in a hurry. Then, like, then everybody's a bad driver. You just would get up the hell off the interstate. I gotta get here, move, and then, like the other day, I was going to work. I'm like, I think I posted a picture online. It's like the biggest blockers ever. Was I showed a picture of two buses. I'm like, it's like every time I see a school bus, I'm like, damn it, I left 5 minutes earlier. I would be fine, but then I see the buses, and I'm like, come on, kids, get on. You can do it. And I'm like, come on, parents, you can just get them on the bus. Just let them go. All right. But enough about that. Um, you're a nurse. You're
yes.
uh, you're an intensive care nurse, right? Or a PACU nurse.
PACU nurse now, but I did intensive care for about 8 years.
Okay. I'm a NICU person. I'm a fan of the NICU. I have a child. Well, he's 20 now, but he was a NICU grad. So I have a very fondness towards that intensive care unit. So what got you into the work, right, of being a nurse?
Well, originally, I started off in exercise science.
Hmm.
I thought that I wanted to be a physical therapist early on in my life. I was a gymnast,
Hmm.
and so I got hurt a lot,
Okay.
obviously in gymnastics, and then I had a career-ending injury. And when I went to college, I they didn't have like a pre-physical therapy program at that time. It was in the 90s, and so I went
Hmm.
into exercise science. And as luck would have it, you meet a boy, and
Oh, is this gonna be the Hallmark story?
oh, not really, but
Oh, okay. Like, does it turn a Hallmark story slash Lifetime slash
yeah,
HBO? Okay.
yeah, it kind
Okay.
of does that, but it's okay. It led me to where I ended up belonging, but I ended up in public health, and
Hmm.
I had a wonderful boss there, and she always told me, "Sarah, you're a nurse.
Hmm.
You're a nurse." And so life brought me into a circumstance where my husband was actually he was a professor,
Hmm.
and I ended up where I was able to go back to school,
Hmm.
and I got to go back to school for free, which is,
Hey,
yeah,
perks.
doesn't happen for a lot of people because I was a faculty spouse, and so I went
Hmm.
back to school as a second career in my mid 30s. I already had two small children,
Okay.
and I just really gravitated towards that. I thought I originally wanted to do OR nursing, and so I did spend like a lot of time. I did like a whole internship in the OR, and I love that. I love
Hmm.
anatomy and physiology. I've always enjoyed that, and but you don't touch the patient. Like the
Hmm.
whole thing about being in the OR is that you get to see a lot of cool stuff and a
Yeah.
teamwork kind of environment, but your
Hmm.
interaction with the patient, is just, they're sedated and on the table.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you certainly could talk to them. I mean, they're not going to respond. You can ask them all the
they're not
questions
going
you'd
to
ask. No judgment, you know.
Yeah, and when you're in nursing school, you spend a lot of time in all the different areas. So you do labor and delivery, you do med
Hmm.
surg, you spend the time in the ICU, and I really like my ICU and my cardiac rotation.
Okay.
And so when I left, we were living somewhere else. We were living in the Midwest, and we really wanted to come back to Georgia. And at
Hmm.
that time, I thought that I wanted to go into anesthesia.
Mm.
And if you want to be a nurse anesthetist, you have to have ICU experience.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, what would you think about going closer to where I used to live?
Hmm.
And it would be easier for me to probably be a big fish in a smaller pond. I felt like I could get into where I wanted to go,
Yeah.
and I applied. And so I went into the ICU directly, and I really liked it. I'm a pretty intense person.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was a pretty good fit for me just because, and it was a good way to go into it because I was an older person going into
Hmm.
the ICU.
Yeah.
Used to, you weren't able to go into the ICU until you had like a lot of years of med surg experience. That used to be kind of the way that you went into it.
Hmm.
Um, but it worked out for me because I was already older. I had some life experience. I was able to
Hmm.
talk to people that was going through something rough because I already had children. I'd already had,
Hmm.
people in my life that had died.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to have a little bit of that, I think, to be able to be in that kind of environment.
Well, it's a natural form of empathy. Well, not empathy.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you can say
shared
that.
understanding because when you're in the ICU, especially as a patient, right? I was actually just talking to a student today about anthropology and explaining culture, and I brought up higher ed's a culture in itself, but also healthcare is, right? You guys work in the hospital, you work in this space that you know and well, you know your people, you know all the things, and that people come into your space. And so having shared experiences to it for a patient helps take the stress down. They help, okay, somebody's understands it. They get me, right?
Yeah.
But working with people is a lot, right? And in the work, it's rewarding, but also can just be, the burnout, right? Have you experienced the burnout rate pretty good, or is it how you holding up with the healthcare field, with
Ooh.
just taking care of all the people, all you wants, while you're trying to still take care of yourself?
It's difficult. I tell people I'm good at it. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean that I like to do it sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, it is a gift. I feel like I'm really good at being with people in their worst moments.
Hmm.
Um, I think that people, and I mean, you have to be able to put yourself with people in their worst moments. People are afraid of death.
Hmm.
We're used to being there every day, like you said, but that they're not used to making those decisions. We're putting people in high intensity situations and high
Yeah.
emotional situations, and they're afraid to make the wrong decision.
Hmm.
We are also, putting people in positions where, they don't have support.
Yeah.
Um, and, there's also lack of, what's made it really hard now is that there's a lot of disinformation too. People don't trust healthcare workers.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of come out in the last few years. And that's made a really hard resistance between healthcare and patients and families. And that's been really hard, I think, with the burnout.
Yeah.
For me, before COVID, I could feel myself getting burned out too because there's a lot of moral injury too because you'll see people in those situations that'll say, well, grandma wanted to live to be 100. Well,
Yeah.
that's great, but that's not what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
Those moments feel so sudden, but people have been sick for a really long time. You just didn't see it, but now we're at this precipice, and this is what's going on now. And so just kind of getting people to that point. And I also think that lots of times we don't do a good job of having discussions with people a lot earlier about what's going on. And then this has happened.
Then they get shocked and surprised, right? And
Yeah.
we didn't see this coming, kind of quote unquote. We didn't know that they were sick. We didn't know what could we have done differently. What all the hindsight questions pop up when you're facing the end, right? Or facing these potential death or worst case outcomes, right? But even in the field, right, procedural part is part of the job. Like that is essentially, you have a patient, you have the procedure, you know what you're doing, you have this, you have to do X, Y, and Z. But the emotional toil that you take on, right? Even as a mother, right?
Yeah.
Moms, you have that mom side emotion, you bring it in, you feel maybe for the patients.
Yeah.
How
But
do you
there's a belief,
separate that? Yeah.
well, there's a belief that we can fix everything and we can't fix everything.
I thought it was only physicians had that. Like, I thought they had the God complex. If they
Um,
listen, God don't. You want me to censor that? I mean, they could. They'd be like,
no, you
we don't
can't.
have a God complex, but some do.
Well, sometimes we frame things, or there's like a belief that we have to, like, because they're
Yes.
there, we have to present options. But sometimes there's options that, yeah, we can present them, but it's not
Mhm.
going to fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a conversation with the patient one time that when you looked at their lab values and you looked at what was going on with the patient in the bed, and like we had a physician come in and talk to them that was offering them this other thing that we could do, but it was not going to fix the outcome. It was going to prolong their life, but it was not going to change the end result of what was
Mhm.
happening. And I was actually upset that they had presented this option because it was not going to change the outcome at
Yeah.
all. And, we cannot tell patients what to do. We can
Mhm.
offer, things. But the patient's wife asked me, and I just said, well, all I can tell you is that this is not going to change what is going to happen. And then she just said, well, then we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
And, for us as nurses,
Hmm.
there is a high burnout rate because we do see a lot of things that occur because we know it's not going to change and we don't want to watch our patients suffer.
Yeah.
And that's where the burnout comes in. There's a lot of moral injury that you hear so much of in healthcare.
I think I equate it to, obviously you've probably seen the TV show The Pit. I don't know if you have.
I won't watch it.
You won't watch it?
No.
I will say, I'm not a healthcare person, but there's been episodes similar to this kind of situation where the doctors are trying to help these parents understand like the outcome, and they're like resistant and they push back, and they're like, you see the frustration because they can't tell them.
Yeah, you
And
can't.
and so there's some relatability, I think. Even I've talked to other people in healthcare. It's like, yeah, this is the closest show towards healthcare that
Yeah.
people have said, right? Compared to like Grey's Anatomy and all the romance
Oh
drama
yeah,
stuff.
that's just garbage. And I mean,
Yeah.
and I've heard people talk about the pit, and
Mm,
I'm glad that it does make it so much more relatable to what's going on. I think the
mm.
people that won't watch it is
Oh,
because we don't want to relive it.
you don't want to like, I just got off work. If I'm going to watch a TV show for relaxation, it's not going to be the same thing I do for a career.
Yeah.
So, do you have a TV show that you watch to relax and say, okay, I'm done with work? And
It's usually like I like to watch Shrinking. I think
it's a
that's
great
great.
show.
Like I don't know if I don't know if psychiatrists watch that or like psychologists watch
They
that.
they do, and it's fascinating. Obviously, there's lots of things you can't do in the field that they
Yeah.
do in the show.
Oh, for real.
But I would take Harrison Ford as a therapist any day. He's a good
Yeah.
guy. I like Harrison Ford as a therapist. That's a great show. If you like another show, you should watch The Rooster.
Oh,
Same
Rooster's
writers.
good. Yeah.
The same writers of Shrinking and Ted Lasso wrote The Rooster, so it's same concept a little bit, but it's Steve Carell, so it's fun, entertaining. But Shrinking is a great show that it's actually on tonight. Finale. I hope
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a sad one. I just worry it's going to be a sad one. Please don't let Harrison die. So I don't want to spoil it. I hope not. I hope not. That would be really bad if they like.
I don't think they'll do that to you.
No, I have.
They
Here's my
won't
theory.
do that to
If
you.
you're watching the show, obviously you're watching the show. You're currently up to date.
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
I have a theory that Jimmy is going to go to Connecticut. I have a feeling because his daughter's going to Wesleyan, Harrison Ford, Paul's going to Connecticut. I just have this weird feeling that he might end up moving to Connecticut. That's mine because he already ruined a relationship that he had there, and I think for him to I think for him to reset himself. Plus, he had a relationship with Paul's daughter. I think there
Um,
could be he might. I need a reset. I need a move, and he might end up in Connecticut. And
Oh,
That's my
no.
guess. We'll see. But if by the time this episode airs, it'll have passed. So, but if I speak it to existence when I go back and review this, like I was right. Okay. So other things you do outside, you're a mother, right? You have two
Yeah.
sons, right? And they are college, right? What's it like
Yes.
to be a mom of so there are your empty nest right now. So you
I'm
don't
an
have
empty nester. Yeah.
so yeah. So what is it like to be an empty nest? Are they freshmen? Are they just in college or were they
I have a junior in college and a freshman in college, and
okay.
they both attend the same college, which I didn't think was going to happen, but
Mhm.
it's kind of cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what do you now do with your free time, right? Now you have this the quietness. You know, you run, you're a big runner, you go outside, you do these things. You find yourself having more free time when you're not at work to do things for yourself.
Yes and no. My father recently just moved down close to me. He was several states away, so I have a lot of time
Hmm.
taking care of him.
Okay. You're always taking care of people.
I'm always taking care of
Never
people.
stops.
Yeah, nurses are eternal caretakers. So
Yes.
I spend time with my dad, which has been a blessing. I know that
Mhm.
he's not going to be around forever, so I'm happy to do that.
Mhm.
My parents were always really good to me, and I'm happy to be able to be there for him in this part of his life. I know
Yeah.
that he's winding down, and we're currently actually planning a cruise next year in
Nice.
Germany. So we're
Just
going to
you and
go,
your dad?
yeah, just the two of us. So we're
Nice.
going to
That'll
go
be
on a
fun.
Viking cruise. So that'll be
Viking. All
fun.
right. Do you get Viking hats? That's a joke. Sorry, I know it's not
I
even.
hope so.
They
Oh,
should be like part of the deal. You get the horn, you drink a beer out of a horn or something
wow,
crazy. I
that
mean,
would be
come on.
great. But no, my grandfather was stationed in Germany when they were younger, so we're going
Very
to do
cool.
that for his 80th birthday. So that'll be our big trip. And
Nice. That'll be exciting.
but I do a lot of kayaking outside. When
Hmm.
we talked about burnout, one thing that my nurse mentor told me when I came into the ICU, Michelle, she said, "I'm going to tell you something that my mentor told me.
Hmm.
No one in your life is going to understand what you do.
Mm-mm.
No one, and you're going to have to find somewhere to put it."
Yep.
And going out and hiking and running and biking and things like that have been instrumental for me to like have somewhere to put all that
Put all the
and
energy, as I
put
call
all
it.
the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michelle is a big kayaker and big hiker, and we've done a lot of that stuff together.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I just when a few years like about 10 years ago, I started going and doing solo hiking.
Nice.
And my husband at the time just said, "Well, what do you want to do for your birthday?" I said, "Well, I hope you don't get upset, but I just really want to go in a cabin in the woods for like
Hmm.
a few days by myself." And he
Hmm.
said, "Okay." And I just started taking these solo trips by myself and hiking, and it
Hmm.
just was such a restorative thing for me. And it was so noticeable to my family
Hmm.
that even my kids would say, like, "Are you going to go hiking? Like, are you going to go on a trip for a while?"
It's like, why? Is this, do you want me gone or is this, do we make you feel better and you come back?
But it just did, just kind of being out, and a lot of it too. It just sounds kind of crazy. It's just like it's the one moment where nobody needs anything from you,
Hmm.
because like being in healthcare and even just being a mom, and it just this might sound bad. It's just like somebody always needs something from you, like
Yeah. Well,
always, always, always.
it's like some of the previous episodes is I like to give some shout outs to them. I just dropped one today in a conversation with my guest at the time, talked about how women have to just juggle everything, right? Kids, work, you just whatever ball you're juggling at the same time, and that's when life throws you at another one. You're like, how do I handle this one? Do I drop this one? And the stress to just carry everything,
Yeah,
especially for women, especially for mothers. So to have that self care time, right, for yourself, where you can go check out, not be needed, turn the cell phones off, DND it, do not disturb, and just go hike, go. And it's the best form of mental health care. In fact, I even tell my students who want to be nurses, like if you don't do things
right.
for yourself now, you will get burned out. If you forget, you lose track of the things that you make that are important, that you value, whether you run, whether you read, whatever it is you do, you should keep
Doing
practicing
it.
that. Otherwise, you'll get consumed by the field. So you're a big beach person too, right?
Yes.
Now tell me about the beach. You sent me a picture of a beach. So why is that kind of your favorite place?
It's So where I live, I'm off the coast, and most of our beaches are. I mean, there's a lot of barrier islands where I'm
Hmm.
at, and this one is particularly special just because it looks so unusual.
Hmm.
It's a barrier island off the coast of Florida, and I didn't send you some other pictures, but it's got some rock formations and stuff too. Lots of driftwood,
Okay.
lots of down trees, and
From like hurricanes, probably from
yeah,
hurricanes, I'm assuming. Okay.
like hurricanes and like beach erosion too. And it's just not heavily populated, and you can go there a lot of times during. A couple of the pictures I sent you were like at sunset and like
Hmm.
at sunrise, and you can just go, and it's just so peaceful. And on my days off, I used to go there and just sit and
Hmm.
read, and it was so wonderful. And I one time I remember just getting really upset because I'd climbed up on this rock formation and I was the only person there, and then there was this guy fishing, and he was like right up next to me. I'm like, why are you like? I
Yeah,
just
get out of my
want to
space, damn
know
it.
like, why.
Go
And
fish
then I
somewhere else.
I was like,
It's a
we're
big
the
body of
only
water.
two
Fish somewhere
people.
else.
Like,
Yeah.
why are you right here? But then he started telling me that there was, some predator fish, and they like to hide out right there by these rocks. And I was like, okay, well, this makes sense. But
But still.
it's just such a like peaceful space to just be alone and with my thoughts. And
Hmm.
it's just kind of the way that I connect. I'm also like an introverted person, so
Hmm.
introverts tend to like to reconnect in nature,
Yes.
and so
Well,
that's
it's
how
actually
I ground myself.
that's actually quite interesting. Helping people as an introvert. Yeah, your cup is probably drained by what by 2 p.m. I'm assuming, or before you even start, right? And so you have to, this concept of filling your cup back up and doing the things that recharge yourself because yeah, helping people taking all their energy, you're like drained. Even in my work, I go home and I do my other job and even like, gosh, is this ever going to end? And then I'm like just dead, right?
Yeah.
So having a place to recharge and then having to have, of course, a place to put your energy to physical output, like running, kayaking, all that kind of stuff is great for self care. So if you is beach plans this weekend, let me ask you this question: sunrise, sunset person. You mentioned that. Do you have a preference?
Well, before I was a night shifter, I would tell
Mm-hmm.
you sunrise
Mm-hmm.
because before I became a night shift nurse,
Mm-hmm.
I could get up as early in the morning. Like that was my preference.
Yeah.
Like either one is fine for me. I mean, to me, they're both hopeful. Like
Yes.
sunrises are hopeful because there's a promise of a new day,
Mm-hmm.
and sunsets are wonderful too because if the day was terrible, it's
Mm-hmm.
over,
Yes.
and it's a promise of something better to come for the next day.
Yep.
So I find each of those nice. There's something, poetic for both of those things.
Well, and even sunrises too. I post a lot of photos, and sometimes when I look out the window, I'm like, it's gotta be the same as it was yesterday. I just really, I'm spoiled because it's like you get close to the water. It's like a 5 minute. When it was really cold, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm driving. It's so pathetically sad. I can just walk there in like 5, 10 minutes, but it's freezing. But I look out the window with my coffee. I'm like, that I can see the clouds. There's no clouds. It's just going to be the same. I've seen it. It's so pathetically sad now, but I still try to go and just like I don't want to be one of those people who become like take it for granted. It's like, same, same. But then I look at the cloud covers and like sometimes I look and I was like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And so I get my shoes on, I get down and I wait, and you see the way it hits the colors and it just forms. And there's this, I think one thing about I look at sunrises in a way that it's because if you're patient, beautiful things happen. Right? I think some people wait for it. They see it's like, okay, it's not doing it, it's not doing it. And then if you just wait just a little bit longer, and there it is. The show happens, right? And I think that's what I like about those types of sunrises. If you just take your time and it happens, you're going to see something magnificent unless you rush it. I think it slows us down because we live in a busy world. It reminds us to just be present
Yeah.
in those moments. Even the sunset, too, it's the same thing. I always have funny stories of sunsets and generations as we are older. I'm not older, we have more calendar days than other people. Put it that way. I hate the word aging and olding. Olding? Jesus, that's not even a word.
Holding
Um,
good. That's good.
olding.
Olding. Yeah, we're olding.
That'll be the new title for
We're
this
olding.
podcast. We're getting olding. Like what the hell? But I was at the watching the sunset one night, and there's these younger people, two young girls, women, whatever, probably girls, and they're just like taking the selfies back and forth, and I'm watching this sunset happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're missing it.
Yeah.
It's like, just stop the picture. You got one, it's good. No,
Yeah.
God, you can just edit it later and put some filters on it and lie. So, but it's there's just something about that. That's why I like the beach concept of this. It's you get to meet people that I've never met before, hear some cool stories about it, and have some great conversations. But let me ask you this: since it is 80 degrees, well,
Yeah.
will be 80 degrees. Sorry, it's 70 and rainy. What's the beach plans for this weekend? Do you have any?
Well, hopefully I will. Hmm. Let's see. Well, it's my plans for this weekend is my friend from work. It's her birthday, so we're gonna go run a 5K. It's a wine
Oh,
and chocolate 5K on
hell
Saturday.
yes.
Yeah,
All right.
we do it every year. But on Sunday, if it's nice, I will most likely go down to Amelia Island and go to the beach.
There you go.
Yeah, every day that it's sunny when it's nice, I'm going to the beach
Hmm.
for sure.
Well, you should, right? And wine and chocolate after a 5K, just because if you did it after like a marathon, you'd be like, I need a minute before I drink anything. I just
Yeah,
had this.
that was one of my worst decisions when I ran the Chicago Marathon.
Mhm.
Someone gave me like a Jello shot
Oh God.
at like mile like
Hmm.
23, and I was like, oh, I don't think I can
Well,
do this.
when I did the Marine Corps marathon, I'm slowly getting back into this. I'm sort of retired like 13 years. I think it was 2013. Anyways, it's been a minute. And I remember it was during Hurricane Sandy at the time, and I was in DC, and I'm running this thing, and it's like, are we still going to do this? I mean, there's a hurricane like
Yeah,
right there. Still did it because runners are nuts, and it costs a
yeah,
lot of money to promote a race and to put it on. And I remember going through, I think it was George Washington University. It's mile 23. My knee is just gone. I did end up having surgery at some point, and they had these med students sitting outside giving like beer out, like
yeah.
16 ounces. These aren't like little shots.
Mm-mm.
And I'm thinking, I'm walking. I don't care. It's a hurricane. Why not? And then I drank it. It was a light beer. It wasn't some like double IPA that I'm like gonna settle a minute. Drank that thing, and I was walking back, and of course the wind started picking up a little bit. I'm like, oh here it comes. I gotta move. I can't move. Plus the beer's kicking in. It's only 3 more miles. I made it, and the hurricane did show up later. It wasn't bad in DC at the time, but it's one that shut down all of New York and canceled the New York City Marathon. But marathons are great. I love that I have a drawer full of medals because they're great for stories. And you've done two
Yeah,
of them, you said.
yes.
So Chicago was one. What was the other one?
The other one I did was the 26.2 with Donna, the breast cancer
Okay,
marathon in
all right,
Jacksonville, Florida.
very
Yeah.
cool.
And I did
So
both of those when I was in nursing school. So those were
mhm.
like a long time ago. I don't know if I have another full one in me, but
Oh,
I've
you
done a lot
do.
of marathons.
You do. You have another full. This is
Ugh,
me tempting you right now. You have
yeah.
another full marathon in you. I'm not going to run another marathon. I just say that, and I
Oh,
just
okay.
tell
Well,
you,
then we're doing it together, Mr. Full
we
Marathon.
might have to. I have a training plan that I'm doing for consistency. It's more of a psychological self-talk,
Yeah.
but I don't have a race signed up. I'm just trying to train myself for 15 weeks that if I do, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. But yeah, there's lots of cool races I haven't done. I did a lot of in the Midwest when I lived there in Nebraska. So I did Lincoln, Omaha, Sioux Falls, Iowa. It's not the most exciting places, but there's lots of stories you can share with running
Yeah.
that nobody gets because this is one of those sports where everybody's all on the same page. We're all trying to do it. No one's, you finish, everyone's happy. You compete, push yourself, but you finish and you go have chocolate and wine, and everyone's happy as that.
Yeah.
So, but I do hope you get down to Amelia Island, and I hope here, at least in New England, it gets a little bit warmer because I'm tired of wearing sweaters. I'm ready to stop wearing sweaters, and actually can be somewhat comfortable because what here it's like almost like is what the mood changes. It's like cold one day and it's like, okay, now it's hot and I'm dying in my office and it's like I can dress in shorts and today I'm like in a stocking, hat and gloves. I'm like, just pick one, you know. I just it's one of those things.
Yeah.
But Sarah, it's been wonderful having you on today.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best and all the running and keep doing the self-care stuff. Keep getting outside, doing the things that you love to do, because this is your time. And I am excited to hear, well, when you post about this Viking cruise with your, you know, for that, and that'll be a wonderful time for you. I'm so excited for that. So thank you again for being on today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Brian.